Hi, Anin Bojo. This is Anthony Gabriel Jabor, or Anthony Gabriel is my artist name, with Wild Rice Records and Missy Knot. Just want to talk about indigenous medicinal plants and medicines today. So, yeah, and let's get started. So, starting off is the blueberry. Very important. They say blueberries are good for the brain. Blueberries are also my favorite fruit, my favorite food almost too. I did just have a very good feeling when I eat blueberries. Like it has a very nourishing, very healing feeling. When you eat blueberries, it's amazing. Everyone loves blueberries. Should love blueberries. Elderberries. I think we know where elderberry gets its name. Blackberries, which are funny because blueberries are actually more of a purple color. I can see why blackberries are called black. They may be a shade of black. They're a little purple as well. Raspberries, strawberries. Strawberries are referred to as the heartberry, likely because of the shape. I don't know if that's because they're good for your heart. I'm sure it was because of the shape. It's kind of shaped like a heart. And yeah, all those berries, the mixed berries, have been used by many tribes in the states to make wojapi, which is a berry sauce where you heat the berries, mash them down, and you make sort of like a berry sauce, almost like cranberry sauce that you would have on Thanksgiving, except you would use it for fry bread, kind of like you would use Indian tacos for. You use the wojapi and the berries and all of that to kind of make a very delicious berry sauce. Use honey to sweeten it, or you can use maple syrup. Sometimes you don't even have to sweeten it. I like to add honey, but if it's on sale, I'll get maple syrup. And yeah, that's another one, maple, for our next one. Going away from berries, maple, very important plant to indigenous tribes, and it's a sweet. It's one of the most important saps that's been used in sapping trees, and it's a very important extract for many tribes. Maple syrup, it became an iconic symbol in Canada, as almost our national food, if you could call maple a food. Like they literally eat maple off of snow in Quebec and near Ottawa. So very important, and you know it's just been an iconic symbol of Canada is maple syrup and maples. Literally, our flag is the maple leaf, and we have Indigenous people to thank for that, of course. And also wild rice. My dad's tribe, the Anishinaabe. It's literally a symbol to us. Wild Rice Records. It's wild rice monomen. It's a gift. Kind of like a lot of other medicines. Monomen is what we plant in Curve Lake to nourish us. I'm sure it's been a very important plant throughout history and throughout time for our tribe, and it will continue to be used, as Missy Knot, my cousin, has been using it, and the chief has even planted wild rice or monomen, and it's very important to continue those cultures, and very important uh, to always practice those cultures. Sassafras is another one. Sassafras is what is now root beer, was sassafras, still is sassafras. It's a plant, I believe found more areas in Ontario, but as far as Ontario, Niagara Falls, Toronto, areas like that, they'll have sassafras, probably Muskoka as well. And throughout Ontario, you'll find sassafras. Sassafras has been used for medicinal purposes, and actually, I believe like Coke, or was it Dr. Pepper? Root beer was used as a medicine to begin with, and I'm sure that's the story for a lot of sodas. We'll find any excuse to drink a sweet soda, have a nice soda, or a pop after school, right? After work, come home, have a cold one. And sage is very important. We sage the rooms. Sage is very, very important to tribes. It's what we take in to have a blessing. It's what we take in to calm ourselves psychologically. It's not really something we eat, but sage can be consumed. It is consumed just as a seasoning or spice. Another one is sweetgrass. Sweetgrass has been used, just by many cultures braiding it, and it's just a very important symbol. I believe the binding almost symbolizes like a unity, symbolizes strength, right? The braids, braiding anything, it symbolizes two things coming together. And it's very important that we continue to use these medicines. And yeah, going from there, cedar has been used. You could say pine. Cedar is a very important medicine as well to animals like woodpeckers, right? They get nourishment from it, and protection for animals like squirrels and blue jays. Actually, my favorite bird is a blue jay. Yeah, so things like this, and pine, so yeah, pine cones and even acorn for the squirrels. The acorn's been consumed by indigenous people. It's been known to have a bit of a bitter taste to people today, but I've never tried it. I just know acorns, and yeah, acorns have been, and also I'm sure nourishing food for people to consume as well. So yeah, you have maple syrup, blueberries, wojapi. All of these have been very, very important to indigenous tribes, and they will continue to be used by indigenous people. So let's continue to remember these. We have so much more to share with the world, and medicine is very important. Our medicinal practices are as important as our spiritual practices, because they allow us to let the world know that doctors can look like us. Doctors have looked like us on our own land, right? We have used these medicines for years as ailments. For years and years and years, we've been using these. For years and years, we've been using sassafras and berries, and people even think, oh, berries came from Europe, and all. No, we've been using them here, and it's very important that we recognize what we've given to the world. Berries and even tomatoes. Tomatoes have been used by indigenous people, which is actually, I believe, a fruit is tomato. Things like that, right? It's tomatoes and berries, monomen, wild rice, things like that. Those are what we've, given the world. We even have wild cucumber in Ontario, wild berries. I always go with wild blueberries. I always love the watery taste of cucumber, but wild berry, nothing is, you gotta try everything is wild, right? It's the wild blueberries, they have such a nice taste. They're smaller. You can always tell the difference, right? The wild berries are mostly smaller. It's a little different. They're still cultivated, and you can still eat them, but it's a little bit of a different process. I always get my berries frozen, and I recommend anyone get theirs frozen, because you don't know what pesticides can be in the container blueberries. So I always recommend going with frozen berries, frozen fruits, and just defrosting them through hot water. So it's a very easy, simple practice to, just defrost it and eat it like you would meat. You defrost meat, makes it easy, and you also want to avoid pesticides in fruit like you would avoid hormones in chicken or other meats. You want, or even pests, you want the best in everything you eat. And that's what medicines are for. Medicines are for nourishment and to nurture, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I like the heartberry, literally a symbol to that tribe, That's why they named it the heartberry. It's why tribes have called it the heartberry. Monomen being a gift, Sweetgrass being a gift. I gave sweetgrass once to Missy, It's just been a very important thing for our tribe. It's wild rice and sweetgrass and all these, all of these are very important to our tribes, to our people, to indigenous people, to First Nations people. These are all still very important. They will continue to be important. We need to always preserve this culture and these ideas, and people like Blue Jay Botanicals, and all these Kawartha spices, and like they're still incorporating what we know in our tribes to be what we used as medicines. They're using it as a small business. They're using it to feed people, right? Everything from pine cones to there's so much things we can use. Cedar and sage and wild rice and sweetgrass, berries. All these are very important. Maple for sure. Maple has definitely been a symbol for Canada, and will continue to be. We have to recognize that even though maple is on the flag, there's also so many other flags, and I'm not going to get too much into that today, but there's a reason why maple is so iconic in our country. It's not just because it's on a flag or because there's maple leaves in Canada. Maple is important to our country because it's a symbol for us, and it's been a medicine, and it's been an ailment, for many different things. There's so many different health benefits of maple syrup, and that's why I eat it at the table with pancakes or waffles instead of American syrup, table syrup. I can't stand the taste of table syrup. I love maple syrup. I love maple products. People, you can almost recognize the taste of maple. It has a very richness to it. It's like dark chocolate compared to milk chocolate. You like syrup, but maple syrup is almost like dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate way more than I'll have milk chocolate, but I love dark chocolate. It's that richness. It's very rich, and it's very important that we realize these are so much more than just tasty foods or they look cool like acorns or cedar or pine cones, or even the braids on sweetgrass. It's not because it looks cool. It's because it's a symbol. It's symbolic. It's healing. It's nurturing. It's a medicine, right? These are all what we need to continue to preserve, as much as saying this is our culture, this is who we are, this is what healed us, and it can heal you as well. So I just believe it's very, very, very important to continue to push the narrative of us always healing ourselves before anyone else, and then healing other people as well, right? We still offered sweetgrass at treaties with Europeans. A lot of these tribes did. Unfortunately, those treaties weren't respected, as we can see today. A lot of the land, especially in, I believe it's Dakota, Lakota area, where the Dakota pipeline is, that was never respected. Those medicines were never respected. That land was never respected. And what we need to do is respect our land enough to appreciate the medicines and the gifts that we've been given, like monoman and sweetgrass, sage as well, right? We all have a duty to tell the world who we are as people, and first it starts with knowing who we are ourselves as people. It starts with knowing who we are and what we can do, and what this land and what this earth has given us as people, instead of judging other people or saying we don't have enough. Maybe we be grateful for the medicines we have, and sometimes the doctors isn't enough. You need to also have these medicines in your life. A lot of people need a diet of blueberries, and maple syrup is great to start the morning, and monoman with dishes is amazing. Wojapi from the berries you can have with fry bread. All of these heal us in their own way, right? And will continue to heal us. That's the important thing, is that we realize these medicines are here to stay. Medicine does not go. Once we know something is healing for us, we can always use it. That's the important thing about medicines and so much other things around us, is knowing what we can use to heal ourselves. Maple is so much more than just a leaf that we put on a flag. Blueberries are so much more than just what you put in pie or what you have as jam every day. Blueberries are very important to all these tribes, and berries are so much more than just fruit to people. They're nourishment, they're healing, they're medicine. So please just continue to preach and continue, I guess a better word, continue to, continue to preach the word of medicine, indigenous medicine, right, to people. Continue to spread the word. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Continue to spread the word of our medicines. Continue to educate people on our indigenous medicines. Thank you. Miigwech. This has been Anthony Jabor with Indigenous Medicines and representing Wild Rice Records with Missy Knott. Thank you. Bye.